Amazing. We are richly blessed in this global family. There is a very strong current of Indigenous wisdom running through today in this whole symposium, and our next speakers are going to continue to build upon that as they presence this message from the Kogi. Now, Jyoti Ma and Luisah, do you want us to play the video and then introduce you, or would you like me to introduce you now?
Maybe you introduce us now, because then I can share how the video came to be.
Wonderful, Jyoti. Thank you so much. Jyoti Ma is an internationally renowned spiritual teacher who has cultivated projects that demonstrate ways of life that honor the earth and all peoples. As the grandmother vision keeper of the Center of Sacred Studies, she co-founded Kayumari with spiritual communities both in America and Europe. Other projects she helped to convene are the International Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers and the Unity Concert. She is the founder of The Fountain. Luisah Teish is a teacher, dancer, storyteller, and high priestess. She is also an author, most notably of Jambalaya, the Natural Woman's Book of Personal Charms and Practical Rituals. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana, her father was an African Methodist Episcopal and her mother was a Catholic of Haitian, French, and Choctaw heritage. Teish is an Ayanifa. Excuse me, my pronunciation is an Ayanif and Oshun. Inayifa, an Oshun chief in Yoruba tradition. Teish is one of the most well-known Yoruba priestesses worldwide who is celebrated internationally in goddess circles as a writer and ritual maker. She quite literally a legendary woman of great character and exceeding positive impact for this generation and all time. Welcome, Luisah. Welcome, Jyoti Ma, to this session.
Well, thank you, Ben, and thank you, John, for the invitation to bring us here today with you to sit at such an elaborate table of visionaries and leaders. I'm humbled by that. So I just want to say thank you to also having this thought that we could sit around this table with people around the planet and really begin to dream in the sacred mission the earth is asking us to walk with and to help serve. With that, I want to just say that, Chief Phil mentioned the Eagle Condor prophecy. So part of what I want to share with you has to do with that prophecy. For the 4 original people of Colombia carried that prophecy, and I was with the Kogi down in 2013 when they opened up the next layer of that story, and they said that we were getting ready to enter 13 years of very deep cleansing. That was in 2013. They said the ending would fall into the beginning in 2026, so we're very close to that now. And if you look back at these 13 years, you can see how it has increased in its deep cleansing process as it has marched us forward. And so I think it is what they said also was that it was important to pay attention to the ending as it fell down, so we stayed informed, but to stay focused on that which is breaking through and into the new dawn. And now in this last 2 years, they have brought a message that is about this last 2 years of the cleansing. And it came about because we were on our way to Greenland and Iceland, where they were going to open first of the 4 pillars, which is part of a healing process the Mother has already given us to move and to be in service with. They would move across Greenland. They would move across Iceland. They would attend the Arctic Assembly, where they would be invited by the Secretary of the Environment to bring a message to Dubai for COP28. They would move there and stay in the sacred sites. They would offer prayers. They would bring the balance that those spirits of those sites would ask for. At the very last, they ended up at the volcano, and they told everyone that was there with us that there would be great movement in this volcano, and very soon, for the Mother was starting to march and move herself. They left 2 days later. There were thousands of earthquakes that occurred there around this volcano. And as you know, the volcano went off and is still flowing. And there are many other earth changes that will occur. As they got back home, they began to go into their own consultation and to close what they had started as they started this march. They came then with a message that the Great Mother herself had prepared, for she said the maladies that she's carrying had gotten to be too strong, and that she must protect the creation of her making. And she is in her making moment. And so if we can stand up with her, if we can focus just on her, and we can all carry what she's already prepared for us to carry, we will make it through that keyhole and into the new dawn, for we are the new dawn, and it is marching. So that's what I know and have how this video got prepared. We prepared it. They wanted it first to go to COP28, which it did, and then they wanted it to fly around the world and to touch everyone. And it has done that. It's had over 850,000 views, and it's still growing and counting. So with that, I'd like to share with you this video. May you find your own inspiration in it, for each one of us has what we need. And we need to say it out loudly and strongly right now, so that oneness will be felt and we can march with her in a strong way as she opens the door of the new dawn.
I am the mother. I am in the heart of the universe. Throughout all of time, I have never suffered from such heat or exhaustion. I have endured for the last 1,000 years. Since that time, my natural connection points, my rivers, reservoirs, and internal waterways across all continents have been obstructed and are full of pollution. I cannot cleanse or recuperate. In December of 2023, I will start to rise and move and turn, sending this message out to all my children around the world. The storms, the earthquakes, the hurricanes, and the rise of the ocean will come. If the governments, the sultans, the princes, presidents, and kings of the world do not listen and act, in 2 years' time, only 30% of the earth will remain. I am the mother. I have always endured despite arrows being put in my eyes and in my body. I am not seeking to defend myself. I remain calm. But now, I must recuperate. There are two ways for me to heal. The first, I could take the law of nature into my own hands. This way, I will go in search of my medicine so I can cure my body, heal my energies, and all that I'm suffering from. There will be great changes upon the earth. You will feel me recovering. You will feel me moving. I will not do this to cause harm to you. It will mean I am recuperating my body. Or the second way. All my children will make the healing happen for me, so I will not need to do it myself. I will put my older children in charge of my recovery. They will go and search for my medicines, for my cure, so I can be healed and recuperate with their help. You, my children, must all be united and deliver what is needed for your older brothers so they can do the healing where I have been injured by you, my younger ones. Each one of the rulers of the world, of the governments of the world must say, "Yes, Mother, I will stand with you. I will give my help to where you have been injured. I, your mother, have given you everything." When these changes start to happen, we will see whether you listen and act, or whether I myself will have to do what I must to recover the balance on Earth. If in just 6 months from now, by June 2024, you say, "Yes, we will provide what is needed," then my oldest children will be able to help cure my body. If this message is ignored, I will take the law of nature into my own hands, 1.5 years from that date. This is the message that the Mother has given, she who is in the heart of the world.
Want to give a big thank you and appreciation to the Kagaba Nation, to the Kogi that have received this message and have brought it to us in the strength and the power with which they're sharing it with us all. And they will be sending more messages. They have a healing process. They want us to return sacred territory back into the caring hands of the original peoples. They want these pillars that are activated. They've got staffs that are moving. And each and every one here is a part of that healing process. And we've heard from so many of our original people, because it's like a beehive that went boom and really lit up so strongly, because they all are receiving similar message. And that's what my great sister, Grandmother Luisah, is here to share with us more about. So thank you, Luisah.
I begin by saying Alafia, which is a Yoruba greeting wherein I am asking that we have good health and be at peace with our neighbors. This is always an important greeting, but at this time it is very, very important. As an Iyanifa in the Yoruba tradition, every year we perform divination in both hemispheres, both in Africa and in the Americas, to ask the ancestors and the Orishas how we should conduct ourselves within everything that is going on. And there are a few messages that have come through very, very clearly. On the top of it is a message from the air spirits to stop war. Stop war. The air is polluted with drones and missiles and other instruments of war, and this will not fare well for us as human beings. And to that end, I have a ritual coming up February 18th that is designed to diminish the energy of war. Yemonja, the great water mother, is very, very concerned about the conditions of the children of the world. Our children are dying of starvation, disease, and war, and this is akin to making ourselves the sixth extinction. If we do not take care of the children, there will be no us in the future. It was said very, very clearly that he wears a crown, but with the mind of a child. And this is talking about our politicians who think that they run the world. So we have to really, really continue to try to grow them so that their minds match their crowns, okay? The good news is that the trees and the plants are meeting underground to discuss the problems of humans. They know that we are in trouble, and they're talking among themselves about how they can help us out. So we need to have gardens. We need to turn to the herbs. We need to spend time under the trees, because that is where our help is coming from. And most importantly, there is the issue of repairing our relationships to each other and to the planet herself. It is very interesting to me that the timeline that the Koji have laid out is very similar to what the elders in Africa and in the diaspora are saying. And I do believe that when the truth is being told, all oracles agree. So the good news is that all hope is not lost yet, and that the plants are the ones who are helping us at this time.
Thank you. And with that, Ben, we'll pass it back to you, and just remind everyone, just close your eyes, see the earth healed. See the original people with the support that's necessary behind each and every line that goes back to that original time, for we truly are all returning to an original time where all life is sacred. And so it is, and so it shall be. Thank you.
Well, so profound. Thank you, Luisah. Thank you, Jotima. Thank you for the powerful, powerful blessings and presence today as we reflect on the message from the Kogi and this crucial, critical time. We really appreciate you being with us. Thank you for giving us your time, shining your light and love here today. I think by now, Chief Phil Lane Jr. perhaps doesn't need any introduction, but let me just say, Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr. is an enrolled member of the Ihanktawan, Dakota, and Chickasaw nations, as an internationally recognized leader in human, community, and economic development. He's been born at the Haskell Indian School in Lawrence, Kansas in 1944, where his mother and father met and attended school. During the last almost 50 years, Chief Lane has worked with Indigenous peoples from North, Central, and South America, Micronesia, Southeast Asia, India, Hawaii, and Africa. Served 16 years as Associate Professor at the Faculty of Education at the University of Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. And Chief Phil, it's just an honor to have you with us on this session on peacemaking. As we begin today, we welcome you to the symposium.
Well, I thank you, my beloved brother, for all the incredible work that you do, and all those who are going to be sharing today. I saw Luisah, Sister Luisah, who I hadn't seen for years, when we were focused on the same thing in the 80s and 90s. And others, Julie, and all great work she's doing with the listing field, and so many, Pato and Antoinette, and I could just go on down the line. Audrey, the work she's done with the movement of the Parliament of World Religions. I mean, the whole work with the Kojis and the work of all the relatives here. So I just want to say, and I'm really thankful to be here. And when David and I got together, wow, what a time that was to share and find out how the universe is inspiring all of us as a human family, as a world family, to arise and to bring about peace. Over the last 500 years, across the Americas, there have been prophecies that promise this very day we live in. One of the best known of those is the prophecy of the reign of the condor and eagle, which over 500 years ago foretold that a great spiritual wintertime was coming. But I want to reframe this last 500 years. Our loving, kind, compassionate, ever-forgiving Creator does not punish us. And we have to reframe these last 500 years. It's not been a punishment, it's been a preparation, a spiritual preparation for unifying our human family in respect and honor of all life. And so we will be initiating this movement, and of course, inviting all those other relatives of their movements to join us. Because when I first went to Bolivia in 1971 and first heard of the prophecy of the reading of the condor and eagle, we began a movement there. And the movement promised that since the union of the condor and the eagle had occurred, the next step was the union of the indigenous people of the Americas, which occurred on March 21st, 2023 in Palenque, Chiapas, Mexico. At that point, where council was elected, which has been meeting every month. And so now the prophecy promised that with this unification of indigenous people across the Americas, that this would also impact and merge into a movement to unify our entire human family and end war and begin peace on earth. So we're initiating a global peace movement with indigenous-led and ally-led, allies, indigenous people together in the Americas, here in the Americas, beginning here, because we have to begin right at home, right here. We have no business going around telling other people how to be peaceful and loving and kind until we can do it our own selves. And the cultural, spiritual mycelium across the Americas that indigenous people now share after 500 years of a common history in our common spiritual perspectives of the four directions, Father Sky, Mother Earth, which you'll find practice all across the Americas. We have now the voices of 80 million indigenous people that are beginning to be represented by representatives, young people, elders, community members from indigenous communities across the Americas who will be meeting in Palenque for the second gathering to come together and initiate a strategy that unites all of us to address key issues we have here in the Americas. For instance, like immigration, which needs to be solved not at the border, it needs to be solved in the very countries in which people are, majority, by the way, are indigenous people because they have no food to eat, and so forth. So that's what I wanted to share that much. We're doing that. We want to invite everybody to join us. And John, there's just a short video, I think it's 2 minutes long, to close this. Because I know there's so many exciting things to be shared. And we have just a little thing here just to get things going, and then we'll get a chance to visit in the room afterwards. So John, if you could put that up, I'd appreciate it.
Where's the video, Phil? I hadn't.
Send it to you. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll go get it.
I said no. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. That's good. I'm gonna put our GoFundMe thing in the thing that also has the video in it. And that's really what I want to say. It's time to come together and fully emerge into our full spiritual adulthood when we recognize that each of us is a sovereignty, ancient and perishable and everlasting. And when we see another human being, no longer will we see before us the color of their skin, their gender, what we'll see before us, how big their nose is, whatever is on the earth.
I got it. If it's 2 minutes, let's do it. Here we go. All right. Fabulous.
Mitakiapi, my very, very beloved members of our human family, we'd like to warmly invite you to support the union of the condor, hummingbird, quetzal, and eagle as we meet for the second time, March 13th through the 22nd, to come together and initiate with allies a global peace movement beginning here in the Americas as prophesied. We thank you so much for any support that you can give to our gatherings so we can bring together our indigenous relatives from across the Americas and coming together and understanding we are one human family. The time for our unity in the end of war has come. Everything in this universe is connected to everything else instantaneously. Spirit connects everything. So what we're doing right here is impacting the entire universe. Hallelujah chante washte alo. Shankmano hemeado chinapasab hemeado. Hallelujah chante washte. Aho. Aho. Thank you.
Magnificent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chief Phil Lane. And seeing that video and the incredible work you're doing, Chief Phil, to bring so many groups together, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, everybody welcome to this Indigenous-led peace movement that you are serving, and all the communities there that you've brought together through Four Worlds Institute. Thank you for sharing that amazing vision, inspiring, and what a beautiful way to really begin the Visionary Voices session for this peacemaking session of the symposium. You can feel it, the awakening to humanity's sacred mission. It's rising up everywhere at the same time. And I think we're off to a very beautiful beginning, thanks to you, Chief Phil Lane Jr. Our next speaker, an eminent leader at the global level as well, Audrey E. Kitagawa, JD, is president, founder of the International Academy for Multicultural Cooperation. It's an amazing organization doing extraordinary work in so many different spaces around the world. Audrey is president of the Light of Awareness International Spiritual Family, chair of the Anti-Racism Initiative and the Gender Equity Working Group of the G20 Interfaith Forum, and former advisor to the Officer of the Special Representative of the Secretary General for Children and Armed Conflict at the UN. Audrey is a UN representative for the URI, a board member of Global Security Institute, and a board member of the International Center for Religion and Democracy. She's been listed in Who's Who of American Law, Who's Who of American Women, Who's Who in America, Who's Who in the World. Wow. And prominent people of Hawaii. She was installed into the royal family of Aliamanti, Ghana, as the Nekosho Hema, Queen Mother of Development, where a school she helped to build, the Nana Ode Anya Kobe Junior Secondary School, is named after her. Oh my gosh, what an incredible life of service you are living as an example for all. Welcome, Audrey Kitagawa, to Peacemaking at the Symposium.
Thank you so much, Ben, and aloha nui loa from Honolulu, Hawaii. And I would like to express my deepest appreciation to Unity.earth and its partner organizations for this invitation to participate in this global event. It is traditional in Hawaii that all auspicious events begin with a sacred oli or blessing. And this chant welcomes the coming of love, and it sets the tone of my presentation today. It is a fitting blessing to start this session on peacemaking, undergirded by the foundation of love in this global call of awakening to humanity's sacred mission. Can we please play this chant?
Una i gala me kale hua he halale hua no yana kano we o ka no ia he ano ine heli ane ho yo kahiki mai a hiki mai no go a hiki puno me ke aloha 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 Aloha.
Able to hear the entirety of the chant. However, the last word, aloha, is the important word that was captured. Beautiful Hawaii, land of the indigenous Hawaiian people who understood the sacred relationality of all people with each other and Mother Earth. So I'm hearing an echo now. Is there a way that we can cut this echo? Thank you so much. In every aspect of the manifestation of life is a divine spirit that we honor as a source of life and is in all of the myriad forms of life. I've been asked to share what my vision of humanity's sacred mission is. And this vision is also every individual's sacred mission, which, when individually and collectively expressed, is the awakening of the reality of who we are as sacred, spiritual beings, imbued with the gift of immortal, eternal life, who have been brought together to actualize the living reality of the divine in the seemingly ordinariness of daily life through every loving thought, speech, and action. For God is love. On the global stage, there are over 69 armed conflicts taking place in the world, and war and conflict playing out in the global landscape are a projection of the collective consciousness of the individuals within a society. So creating peace is an individual responsibility, as what we do and how we think and how we speak all contribute to creating a peaceful inner and outer world. As global citizens, we must work on ourselves first. And as we become peaceful individually, then collectively as a society, we will manifest a peaceful world on the outside. The preamble to the UNESCO Constitution says, as war begins in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. The journey of the development of the peacemaker, which is a role which we each have responsibility to undertake, begins within the heart of the individual. And the heart is the repository of love, that we should seek to grow more deeply in the ways of compassion, kindness, and caring for each other. And the shaping of the heart begins its journey in the home. So each family is a building block of society, and parents are responsible for raising their children with good values so they can develop a sound moral and ethical compass that will stand them in good stead as they move out into the world. Parents are the role models for their children, so they are at all times teaching children by example. A value of great importance to embrace is peacemaking, is gratitude. For when gratitude and appreciation are present, there can be little room for resentment and ill will. If we remember that we have not come to our place in the world without a lot of helping hands along the way, the parents who fed, clothed, and provided shelter to us, the caring friends, sibling, teacher, or even stranger who gave us solace in our time of distress with a kind word, a cheerful greeting, or lending a helping hand when help was needed. Every moment that we live are opportunities provided to us to put peacemaking in action. Where we are is the holy ground, and we must be able to find peace, live peace, and make peace here and now. Another important value to embrace is nonviolence. There are many ways that people are violent within themselves and to themselves and undertake a lot of self-harm with feelings of not being good enough, of having a very damaged self-image, and having lots of negative self-talk in which degrading language is used against one's own self. What this speaks to is the personal responsibility we each must take for the development of our inner life and the building of the foundations of our character that is based upon those sound values of integrity, truthfulness, courage, and growing our hearts of love, compassion, and kindness. Since I am in Hawaii, I wanted to share about the peacemaking efforts that are being undertaken here that speaks to an inspiring and hopeful future. Hawaii is a diverse, multiracial, multi-religious, multicultural microcosm of the wider United States and the world that developed through the large and increasing immigrant populations. In 1820, the missionaries brought Christianity to Hawaii. The Chinese brought Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. The Japanese brought their own Buddhist traditions and Shintoism. The Portuguese and Filipinos brought Catholicism. Religions such as Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, and Baha'i also have footholds in the community. I also wanted to recognize our Asian friends who we acknowledge today as the beginning of the Lunar New Year, which is a year of the dragon. And undergirding these diverse faiths is the Hawaiian peacemaking tradition of ho'oponopono, or problem resolution, a process to set things right with each other and with the Almighty. There is discussion, repentance, restitution, and forgiveness, and always with a prayer to set right what is wrong. As stated in the handout from the Hawaii Church of Hawaii, there is this love for one another that must be given. And when love is given, love should be returned. And that unity is a precious possession. So harmony and peace within the community are important to maintain for the well-being of everyone. The Hawaii Interfaith Ohana is unfolding important work to bring these diverse faiths and peoples together for peace. And we just had a convening on the island of Kauai a couple of days ago. So stay tuned to hear more about their work, as Hawaii, where East meets West, is the important geopolitical focal point in the entire Pacific region. The call to action is to effect change, and we must begin now. Each person can start with 3 powerful practices that can transform your lives and inspire others. 1, develop a disciplined practice of gratitude. 2, perform selfless service. 3, practice nonviolence. Practicing this important value towards ourselves and others is necessary to cultivate a consciousness of peace. And I would like to end with a prayer. Source of life and love, we pray for peace in the world. We seek peace in our hearts, a peace that transcends all understanding, that heals all wounds, that reconciles all conflicts. Grant us the wisdom to seek peace, to pursue dialogue, to embrace diversity, to respect dignity, and to uphold justice. May we be blessed with peace, a peace that is a gift and a responsibility, that is a promise and a challenge, that is a hope and a reality. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you for letting me share.
Oh, blessings, Audrey. Gratitude, service, and self-reflection. Thank you for bringing it down to such basic things for us. And I love how you're talking about peace and peacemaking and bringing it back down to our own inner voice and the stories we tell ourselves and the things we tell. That was a beautiful presentation. Again, we need to go back and watch that over and over again to get all of the gifts and all of the gems that you've given us today. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you for being with us and for all the blessings that you give to this community around the world. The International Academy of Multicultural Cooperation is doing great, great things in the world. Thank you, Audrey Kitagawa. We are moving now to another legendary, lifelong peacemaker, David Gershon, global visionary and transformative change leader over the past 40 years, has developed highly effective and proven evolutionary acceleration strategies. Boy, don't we need them right now. These strategies are embedded in a planetary game for creating peace on Earth by 2030. He directs Empowerment Institute's Center for Reinventing the Planet, which empowers change agents from around the world to design and implement second-order change social innovations. He has lectured at Harvard, MIT, and Johns Hopkins, and served as an advisor to the White House and the United Nations on empowerment and second-order change. Brother David, it's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you for being here at the symposium on this day dedicated to change making.
Thank you, Ben. And thank you for the invitation. And John, thank you for the invitation. And bless you all for the beautiful work you're doing, who have spoken so far, and to continue after I speak, to offer their beautiful visions. So I have taken the notion of sacred mission to heart. And I want to speak to that notion. So for me, my sacred mission is to create peace on earth. It is a clear signal and resonant signal that I have received 47 years ago On August 11th, 1976, we completed a 9,000-mile bicentennial torch relay across all 50 states of America to celebrate the spiritual values upon which this country was founded, which looks very different than how it has shown up now. We wanted to rekindle them. And as we extinguished that torch in downtown Manhattan at Federal Hall, the site of George Washington's inauguration, I received the guidance to bring a torch of peace around the world to create peace on earth. And I have been living this sacred mission ever since. But this is more than my sacred mission. Peace on earth is the sacred mission of humanity. And I'm part of a long lineage of people who have proclaimed and peoples the idea of peace on earth, from Jesus of Nazareth, which has grown stronger ever since and is celebrated every Christmas, to the Native American Hopis, humanity's dream keepers for peace, to John Lennon through his global anthem, Imagine. It is the one idea held universally in the hearts of all humanity. Victor Hugo said, "There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come." And Plato stated that ideas rule the world. In my judgment, peace on earth is the most powerful idea in the world because of its universal aspiration held in the heart of every human being, either consciously or unconsciously. As this idea enters a person's heart, it lifts them to a higher frequency. And now the idea of peace on earth has a due date by 2030. This is showing up in many different places and expressions, including my beloved brothers and sisters on this call who have partnered with me and who've been moving forward this notion in many different ways. Chief Phil, John, Hezekiah, Julie, Antoinette, Pato, and Ben. Thank you for your partnership. Rotary International is creating peace on earth zones and have committed to this as part of their mission. African Union is helping further and model the Ubuntu peace strategy that is being championed by Pato and Antoinette, and over 50 global partners. So as people and organizations in different parts of the world express their unique way of moving peace on earth by 2030 into the world, we are finding ourselves with a unifying vision for humanity, a common cause. Indeed, peace on earth is an idea whose time has come. So let me share a little bit about this collective journey of peace on earth that I have been holding and stewarding and implementing over these years. In 1986, at the height of the Cold War, we passed a torch of peace around the world. It was called the First Earth Run. And in partnership with the United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF, we engaged 1 billion people through the media and 25 million people on the ground and 45 heads of state in 62 countries. And something remarkable happened, something that I still find inspiring and awesome for humanity and for me as a keeper of the flame. Wherever the torch of peace went, all wars stopped. All wars stopped, and the world was united as one. We saw the readiness, if provided with the right opportunity, for humanity to show up in a totally different way. Thousands of groups around the world came together cooperatively to achieve this audacious goal. And we had very limited communication. There was no internet. There wasn't even fax machines, and very few social networks. But because this is the heart of humanity's sacred mission, people were ready, they showed up, and this happened. And we're even more ready now. Not for a 3-month experience, but for a 7-year plan to actually create peace on earth. Our mantra is John Lennon's Imagine song, which has become the global anthem. He sings, imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. So my call to action today is to invite more dreamers, more people willing to hold this intention, willing to put a stake in the ground and give it a date and a path. This venture that we are now embarked upon is based on the 7 strategies that ignited the world, come together in common cause, and bring a torch of peace around the world. It's evolved into what we call the peace game, which John has alluded to, which combined with our knowledge of second order change that we've cultivated over the last 4 decades, brings the synergies together to create something, to create the impossible becoming possible. Communication connectivity is there. The yearning is there. The deconstruction is there, forcing us to construct a new possibility. If not now, when? If not us, who? So we've embarked on this journey. It goes through the peace game and the 7 peace actions. It evolves into what we call peace on earth zones that reweave the social fabric of a community, transforming that which separates us into that which brings us together, and learning how to cooperate for the common good. How do we heal the polarization? This is one of the ways. And our vision is community by community, year by year, over the 2020s, we will witness the dawning of peace on earth and ushering in of the golden age. Chief Phil, I'm so delighted that you are bringing the indigenous leadership into play. I look forward to figuring out the best ways for us to be the beneficiaries, as was stated in the beautiful video of our older brothers and sisters. So we've piloted this peace game over 5 years. 35,000 peace actions have been taken that have impacted almost 9 million people in 15 countries. And I just will close by sharing a little bit of what we've learned. The peace game is built around 7 strategies: empowerment, oneness, unity, cooperation, abundance, love, and faith. The themes of World Unity Week last year. These are transformational practices that, when collectively applied, evolve a person into an emanation of peace and everything around them into manifestations of peace. They're practices, which means that they deepen as people invest more time and make them part of their life. The peace game is divided into 4 parts that represent the different expressions of how peacemaking and peace is expressed on planet Earth right now. Action 1 on empowerment focuses on building the capacity of the peacemaker, building their agency. Actions 2 to 4 on oneness, unity, and cooperation. Those are the peace building actions. This is how peace building actually works as people become skillful in oneness, unity, and cooperation. Actions 5 and 6 on abundance and love focus on field building, spiritual field building, and pragmatic field building, empowering the different peacemaking groups. And action 7 on faith is really focused on the movement building, being able to grow this movement and being able to really up-level one's faith in the possibility of peace on earth and our fellow human beings showing up in a new way. So at its essence, the peace game is an empowerment platform, enabling people to envision and create a life of peace for themselves and influence those in their world to do the same. Playing the peace game empowers, enlightens, and transforms those players and communities who wholeheartedly engage with it. There's more that I can say, but let me just close with a specific call to action. We are currently playing a game online with 154 people across many countries around the world. It started January 17th. It completes on March 13th. People are playing the game each Wednesday, 12 to 2, in teams of 3. We call them the peace teams. There are 9 meetings. We have 8 Peace on Earth zones that are in play across the game right now. It's played on a Peace Game app. And our next Peace Game starts May 15th and it goes through July 13th. And I'll put it in the chat, a link to that, and also when we have our next information meeting. So let me just close by saying we are capable of doing so much more than we've ever imagined. And Peace on Earth by 2030, that's held by so many of us on this call and so many others, is an idea that has tremendous power. So we can do this. We do not need Mother Earth, Blessed Gaia, to have to do it herself. We can do this. And I invite everyone who feels called to join and play with us. Blessings.
Wow. That is so good, David. Oh my gosh. We're witnessing history in the making here. All of us together. You know, Ben, the thought is just, it's in all dimensions. It's strategic, it's tactical, it's operational. It needs to happen at all levels. Here you got a real structure, a vision, indigenous inspiration and leadership. We got Women's Day coming up on March 8th. We have a call to stand with the mother. You know, the power of music and youth. I mean, we're seeing the ways we actually can engage and the connections, not just with the indigenous world, but with Africa and the work that Pato and Antoinette are doing. I mean, gosh, and Audrey, man, I mean, this was worth getting up for. This gives me so much hope. We can do this. And David, just you're so organized and so thoughtful. We could just learn from each other. Oh my gosh. I just had to speak. I'm just so moved by this.
Thank you, John.
We got this.
Yes, it's amazing. Thank you, John. Thank you, David. Thank you for being with us and sharing the extraordinary history, heritage, and future of all of the work that you're doing. And Peace on Earth by 2030. Yes, we've had the pleasure and honor of having the torch that was part of the first Earth Run from 1986 with us in sacred events in Africa and in Ethiopia and North America and different parts of the world as we built up this collective journey. And yes, we're partners in this Peace on Earth by 2030. So bless you, David. And on we go. We're gathering steam. Change makers, peace builders, peacemakers. We're all here. And our next 2 speakers continue the incredible caliber of global leaders that are standing up, standing together right now for peace. And we are growing stronger, more connected, more organized every time we come together. Pato Banton, a beloved brother and friend to so many, is a Grammy-nominated reggae legend that has recorded and toured the world with the English Beat, Steel Pulse, UB40, and Sting, to name just a few. Although his 4-decade career has also earned him a place in the British Music Hall of Fame and a BBC Lifetime Achievement Award for his tireless community work to reduce gun crime, his journey has increasingly transcended the music business into arenas of youth outreach, teaching in schools and colleges, writing new curriculum for children with learning disabilities, and global spiritual ministry, which is a profound part of Pato's gifts to the world is his global spiritual ministry. Now based in Southern California, although Pato today joins us from the UK where it's past midnight. So thank you, brother, for being up with this at this hour. He continues to record and tour the world extensively, conveying a positive and very spiritual message while simultaneously serving as teacher, counselor, mentor, and minister of the verb to his fans, friends, and spiritual family. Brother, it's a joy to have you with us. And of course, joined by Antoinette Rootsdawtah Hall, a world-renowned keyboardist in the reggae industry, And in 2019, the United Religions Initiative Africa appointed the renowned reggae musicians Pato and Antoinette as goodwill ambassadors of the Golden Rule. Antoinette has got a rich heritage of her own in global outreach ministry, which includes the Urantia movement, U-Day Festival, Parliament of the World's Religions, OneGod.com, Harvard Divinity School, and most recently, a presentation for the Convergence Gathering at the United Nations in New York. Antoinette's spiritual communities include Minister Pato Banton, Urantia Aspirations, Minister for Christ Michael, Daughter of the Divine Mother, Unity.earth, URI Multi-Region, and Coexist. She's also the founder and head of Stand Up for Justice and is on fire with serving across the world. Thank you, Pato. Thank you, Antoinette, for being with us for this subject today of peacemaking.
Thank you so much. I believe that we were showing a video to start. Let's show the video and then
to me,
we can
Ubuntu
share
is
our
our
thoughts.
Okay, if I were to tell the world about Ubuntu, I would say we rise by lifting others.
Can you rewind? With Ubuntu, you reach out to those that have lost hope, but through Ubuntu, they are able to move on. They are encouraged. They are told there is much that we can achieve when we are there for each other.
Ubuntu in my community means humanity, where we share whatever we have, whether little or much. We are all connected by that spirit, that whatever I have, it is mine, yes, but I'm kind of propelled to help the other people to raise up to where I am.
Ubumuntu is about love. It's about loving your neighbor, not in a fluffy way, but in a sense that what you feel, they feel. And that everybody has a story that matters. And that together, we can bring healing to each other.
Let the hungry be fed, the naked clothed, the sick be nourished, the elders protected and the infants cared for. So this is all a basic need of any community, and Ubuntu matches that immediately. If we can help each other achieve these things.
I believe that I do exist because of other people. There's nothing that I wouldn't be here or be able to travel or be able to continue my music or anything else if it hadn't been for other people. And then now that I see how this philosophy actually works in all these organizations, I'm ready to take it back home and starting it in my own community, you know, with our own projects. Wake up. You're gonna sit there and see Africa is on the rise and is awakening.
Thank you for sharing that, Antoinette. So I just wanted to say a few words about the Ubuntu project. We have been involved in this project now for about 2 years, working on the documentary. We have been to 20 cities in 10 African countries, filming the documentary, and also working with community organizations and building working relationships across the continent of Africa. Since the release of the documentary in January, actually 4 weeks ago, the Ubuntu documentary has already won 9 awards. Antoinette has also won a Music Score Award for her musical contribution to the documentary, which she filmed in the God frequency. What frequency was that, Antoinette?
The frequency 432.
So we changed the frequency of the music to 432 to the heart frequency, to the God frequency, and rewrote the entire documentary music score, all done by Antoinette, and it's come out very beautiful. So currently we are working on a revisit to Africa to visit all 20 organizations. Antoinette will be spending a month in South Africa, building relationships with the Desmond Tutu Foundation, the Nelson Mandela Foundation, the Ubuntu Film Festival group, and other organizations across South Africa. Antoinette will be doing that groundwork for a month, while I will be going across the 10 African countries to show all participants in the movie, the documentary, as well as building new bridges with other organizations that want to be involved in this emerging Ubuntu family. So it's a big, big project, but it's coming together very nicely. And then after the Africa tour in March and April, we will be doing a world tour across America, Canada, Europe, and hopefully Australia as well, to come and show the movie to everyone. We've already done film screenings in Hawaii, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. Outside of the Ubuntu project, which Antoinette will continue to share about, I just wanted to share something that I hadn't initially planned to share. But upon listening to everybody and upon listening to David, I wanted to just share 7 points regarding peace and the role that we now have to play in bringing the destiny of humanity closer to the goal. And here they are. And I'll make this as quick as possible, Antoinette. The first one is, and these are taken from the Urantia book. The first one says, religious revelation is essential to the realization of brotherhood on this planet. And in religious revelation, they're basically saying that we need help from our celestial family. Mankind cannot do this alone. We need help, whether it's from our mother spirit, who we are all becoming more and more aware of now, and from Melchizedek and the other celestial beings who have been working on this planet for centuries. We need to reach out to our celestial family in assistance. Number two, we understand that through the gospel of the good news that we're all God's children, we have a pathway to spiritual brotherhood. But for social brotherhood, we have to look at the following things. Number one is social fraternity, multiplication of international and interracial social contacts, fraternal associations through travel, commerce, competitive play, which David was talking about, development of a common language worldwide, which we are now seeing through the internet and social media, multiplication of multilinguists, the racial and national interchange of students, teachers, industrialists, and religious philosophers. Number two, and I'm going to make the other one short, intellectual cross-fertilization. Number three, ethical awakening. We need to become more ethical as a world. Political wisdom. We need people in power who are wise, who are tapping into their spiritual nature, not just materialists who are gaining power and pursuing material pathways. Spiritual insight. All the people who are in this call, who are meditating and praying, this is so important, as we all have to develop personal spiritual insight, and we can only do that as individuals. And lastly, which I started with, we all have to reach out for another spiritual visitation. We need some celestials to come on the planet, hold our hands, and help us through. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, aliens and celestial visitors on the planet. So Let's reach out to them and make this happen. I'm going to pass it to Antoinette.
Thanks. Do I have share screen privileges? Right, let me just hurry and get over here. I got 1 minute. All right, so quickly, 1 minute. This is our website, Ubuntu.
Take a couple of minutes. Take a good couple of minutes, Antoinette, as you need.
Are you sure? Okay.
You bet. You bet.
All right. Well, let me just stop for real quick. Let me just say this. All right. Number one, this documentary is so very, very, very important. I believe that is going to change the world for the better, just like we have stated. It is watching for the last 2 days, you know, the things that we're talking about, the environment. We're talking about women's rights, and we're talking about women's issues. We're talking about our interconnectedness. We're talking about peace. We're talking about spirituality. We're talking about a lot of different things. This is something that Ubuntu is covering. So I'm going to just quickly share my screen. All right, this is Ubuntu. This is our website. As you can see on the spinning globe, this is all the Ubuntu type organizations. We've already added like 10 of them. So we're adding like 13 more different organizations. If you click on a dot, it will sit there and take you to one of the organizations. So this is how we have it all laid out. The different ones, Unity.earth, everybody else will be laid out on there as well too. And then if you go over to here, this is the Spirit of Ubuntu, where you can get to the website. You can contact us. If you come over here, this is where we have our Ubuntu International. And this is our link tree. This is our link tree that has everything, because we didn't get a chance to go over everything. So we have the website, we have Pato's website, we have Identia.us, which is about sustainability, about the land, the environment. We have Pato's YouTube, we have my Instagram, we have the music, and down here we have Divine Mother's Love, which is also part of all of this, together with the Kogi message and everything else that we got going on. So.
Wow, that's amazing. You two are amazing. Everything that you're up to, so many different projects, so many different service initiatives right around the world, from there in California to Africa. The Spirit of Ubuntu movie, congratulations on the reception it's getting, Antoinette and Pato, and to Gard Jameson and to the directors and everybody who's put that together. It's such a labor of love and a passion project, and something, as you say, Antoinette and Pato, bringing that spirit rising out of Africa around the world, that interconnectedness. It's so resonant with the whole movement, with good of the whole, with the everything, the interconnected whole that we are. And so beautiful that to see it coming out of Africa through your storytelling and through the people that you are highlighting and spotlighting through that film. And congratulations on everything you're doing. I remember last March, a group of us had the privilege of going down to Identia, to the land there in California. It's so powerful. It's so beautiful. Your shared intention for service to this world is spilling over, and we can feel it here in this space, as in many, many, many spaces around the world. So thank you.
Can I say something about that?
Yes, please.
All right. So we just went out to the land the other day, and I kept saying about the women, I was like, from when Chief Phil Lane came and blessed the land, it was so dry. And by the time when Pookie got married on there, and when we were there for after the Hollow Movement and the convergence, and we saw that running stream of water, it was so powerful. So when we heard about this Kogi message, I kept saying this from the parliament. And when I met up with Sister Ejna and Sister Joan Henry when we were down in Mexico, I was like, listen, it is powerful when we are coming together, when we're honoring Mother Earth and we're protecting Mother Earth. So the Kogi message, some people were sitting there playing around. It was man versus Mama Nature. If you see what's happening out here in California, definitely man is losing against Mama Nature. But if you sit there and work and sustainable with the land, it can work in conjunction, because there's no reason why we have to be fighting the environment. It's like, why are we shaving off mountains and creating new different things when we actually can work with it and we could be a lot more sustainable? We went and checked the land. It is so perfect right now. The river is going, the stream is working, the buildable part that we're talking about, sustainability. So it's like all eyes. This is what we're talking about with Ubuntu. All eyes on Africa, because they know how to sit and regenerate the land. They know how to sustain. They know how to work with it. They know how to work with what you got. And then we need to bring those same principles back over here so we can sustain and stop fighting against it. And we wouldn't have all this destruction and all this damage. So the wisdom is not just about what we're talking about, but we're showing you what it actually looks like. So see what it looks like when we actually do come together. That is why I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned about what the things people worried about the future. We can actually change the future 100%, absolutely, if you actually see the work that people are doing when they actually come together. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Antoinette, for that beautiful inspiration. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and so much positivity, so much cause for hope, so much practical wisdom that's been shared here in this symposium. Thank you for your contributions today. Pato, Banton, Antoinette, Rootsdawtah, you blessed us greatly. We're now going to hear a video from another extraordinary brother, Steve Farrell. Steve has recorded this message because he couldn't be with us live. Many of you will know Steve Farrell co-founded Humanity's Team, a nonprofit in 2003 with Neil Donald Walsh, author of the Conversations with God series, and is its executive director. He's a member of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle and contributed a chapter to their Nautilus Award-winning book, Our Moment of Choice, which, by the way, we're going to be giving away some books tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for session 5 tomorrow. He lives in Boulder, Colorado with his wife, Stephanie, their 2 young adults, and their dog, Sadie. Steve from Humanity's Team.
The executive director of Humanity's Team. I want to thank Ben and Ervin for inviting me to be part of this symposium. I'm coming to you through this message because I'm going to be out of the country during the summit. Thanks so much for inviting me to be part of this symposium. I want to talk to you about what we call in Humanity's Team our Galileo moment. Galileo, as you'll recall, in the early 1600s was this leading scientist, physicist, and astronomer that observed that the Earth was revolving around the sun in a solar system, and it was not at all the center of the universe. Might not sound like such a big deal, but it was a very big deal. This was the time of the Roman and Spanish Inquisition, when you did not surface something going against prevailing beliefs. And so he was put under house arrest, and he was almost killed. The only reason he wasn't killed is he recanted and said, just kidding, not really true. Only problem is there were many others that had telescopes that observed the same thing, that the Earth was not the center of the universe, that the Earth was being warmed by the sun in a solar system. And so that we could see the health and well-being and the truth of where the Earth is in the universe. Like that time, today, we live under a similar false reality. The false reality that our separated self is the center of our universe, which is how many of us, from the time that we wake up in the morning from our pillow, see the world, as our separated self is kind of the center of everything. Even though mystics down through the ages have shared, no, the universe is deeply interconnected, interrelated, and interdependent, that in fact it's one. There's a diversity and unity, that there's a divine presence, that there's a divinity that actually encompasses the whole of the universe. And as we know, science is now affirming that this is true, right? In quantum physics in particular, there's a great deal of research coming forward that's saying there's entanglement across the universe. 2 things that have no physical connection are deeply affecting each other. The Resonance Science Foundation, IONS, many organizations, many physicists have made it their life work to share this truth, that in fact there is no such thing as a separated self. We've created a false reality. So our invitation in Humanity's Team is to see ultimate reality for what it really is, that we're a part of this deeply interconnected universe, that there's a spiritual universe, there's a universal consciousness animating all of life, and we're inseparable from it. And when we put ourselves at the center of that universe, from the time we wake up on the pillow, where we see that we're a cell in the body of this superorganism that we can call life or the divine, and we live our life from this place of service and truth, that then everything changes. That this is actually the thing that heals the root cause problem on the planet today. Just as the root cause problem was the Earth, center of the universe, today, root cause problem is that we are separated self at the center of the universe instead of a source, the divine universe that is at the center of the universe. And where we see this, we become warmed by the love of the divine. We come in service to life around us. We're actually designed that way, is what scientists are sharing. And we create health and well-being for ourselves. We leave this place of isolation and anxiety and disempowerment that so many people are feeling today. And we enter this new world of deep connection, of love, of joy, of blessing, of beauty, right? All of these things where we have this entirely new worldview. And in a sense, it's almost like we're born again, where we see the truth of what mystics and science are sharing. So this is the important thing. Thank goodness that Galileo was the brave person he was in the early 1600s, because he changed the world. There's no one person today that can stand tall and share a truth that's going to change the whole world. Today, it's incumbent upon each of us to stand in the truth of what mystics and science shares, to move our ladder where it's leaning against this wall of false understanding of separated self, and place that ladder against this new wall with this new understanding of this universal consciousness animating all of life that we're inseparable from, and living into the health and well-being of what this is. And in doing so, we create an amazing life for ourselves. I call it like floating on a raft above the up and down world that is today's world. When 8 to 10% of us live this way, then we create tipping point. And in tipping point, the whole world sees this false reality that we've been living into, and this new reality, this truthful reality that's blessing and beauty and grace and peace and so much more, where we're in service to life around us. So that's our call to action here in the Humanities team. It's the thing that I want to bring to this symposium, to simply live into ultimate reality, to live into the truth, to move this false belief aside that we embody a separated self. It's not true. And why take something so sacred as a life lived and live into a false reality? Now's our time to each stand up and live into the truth of this conscious reality. There's a great migration to conscious living that's going on. We're actually well into this new migration. This is the age of consciousness. This is where we elevate consciousness, this thing that Einstein shared was so important if we were going to create a new world. And it didn't happen in his day, but it can happen in this day. It is happening. And where we all live into it, it's very, I'll call it contagious. People can see and feel the blessing and beauty and grace and peace that is this conscious living thing. And again, as it becomes contagious and as it spreads, we create this whole new reality, this sustainable and flourishing world, not only for our generation, but for generations to come. All of the young people that we see in this world, that they inherit that new earth. And isn't that a life worth living? Thank you again, namaste, for inviting me to be part of your program.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Steve, for sharing that powerful, inspirational message. So many groups, so many networks, so many platforms right around the world that are coming together at this time. It's extraordinary. It's exhilarating. It's amazing. Sometimes it's even a little overwhelming. When you feel how much is going on. But I do want to acknowledge, just take a minute. We're going to have thank you. And thank you, John Raymer. We're going to go over into the participants room in a moment. We've got some great engagement. The engagement sessions here as part of the symposium have been such a wonderful kind of addition to everything and innovation. But I do want to just shout out to Purpose Earth. And I want to invite everybody to share something. to Purpose Earth, who really are the primary sponsor for what's put this symposium together. There were many sponsors that chipped in and put money together, including Good of the Whole, Connection Field, One World, Sign Network, Light on Light, Source of Synergy Foundation. But it was really Purpose Earth that supplied the funding to do all of the work. Irina Morrison has been doing the web, the design, those beautiful graphics, what Derek has done and Ayana has done. All of that's been funded through Purpose Earth. Now, 100% of everything we give to Purpose Earth will go to grant recipients in all around the world. And if you didn't know, Purpose Earth over the last just few years has given away almost $400,000, usually in like $5,000 to $10,000 grants, 100% going to projects in Africa, projects in the developing world, group projects. It's an extraordinary blessing. And I just want to make sure we have an opportunity for everybody to share back, even if it's whatever you can. I'm going to bring up the QR code. We're all used to using the QR codes now. So open your phone and let's get into Purpose Earth. Becky's also putting links through the chat. And you'll be invited to give a one-off donation or a monthly donation. Again, this is not for us. This is for Purpose Earth. It goes out through the grant recipients. It goes out to projects that are beautifully, wisely selected by the Grants Council. Laura Rose, Marty K. Casey, Professor Peter Blaise Corcoran, and many others serve on that eminent council to give grants away. And there are people that have received grants, like Chief Dwayne Perry and groups all over the world that have received Purpose Earth grants. So just wanted to take a minute because it's important that we continue the flow, continue the energy rolling around the world. And as if we're enjoying this symposium, if you've got any benefit out of it, if you feel there's been any value, then I invite you please to pay it forward and send something now to Purpose Earth. $5, $50, $500, whatever you feel called to do monthly or one-off as you wish. But 100%, as you can see, go directly towards the grant recipients and their projects. Not only do they get money and funding, they get mentorship as well from the incredible Purpose Earth family. So we'll close this in a moment. The link's in the chat. The QR code is there. Get your phone out, open the camera, and you can be taken straight to that link where you can support and put something in there. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate paying it forward. As I said, if you've received anything out of this so far, please send that back to Purpose Earth so we can continue the wheel and the cycle of this blessing. Let the golden thread continue to flourish in all sorts of beautiful ways. I want to take a moment to thank John Raymer. We haven't finished. We're going over to the session now. Participation. We're going to have a transition segment with Tez, but I do want to thank our speakers today, Chief Phil Lane, Audrey Kitagawa, Luisah and Jyoti Ma, David Gershon, Pato, Antoinette. Thank you, Dr. Julie Krull, for kicking us off, and John Raymer for the beautiful co-hosting. We're only halfway through.